know I can't help but these, cause they know they can never touch these. So baby, let me talk my shit, or I might just throw another fit. You know I can't help but these, cause they know they can never touch these. So baby, let me talk my shit, or I might just throw another fit.
NyynewsTV. This is New York, Yankee sports talk. Swinging for the fences, knock it out the park. This is New York, Yankee sports talk. Christian and Chris, of course SGR. This is New York, Yankee sports talk. Homie, New York, Yankee sports talk. Record, rain or shine, grab your shades and umbrellas. NyynewsTV, you're hanging with the fellas.
Welcome back. This is episode 330 of the NyynewsTV podcast. We're live on NyynewsTV. I'm your host, Christian, and I'm with SGR.
What up? Oh, nice. You got the R.
Until they hit Tampa, bro. The Pirates have been probably the story of Major League Baseball so far this year.
For sure. Definitely one of the bigger surprises so far. Yeah.
Team-wise, for sure. Okay, so this is the Pittsburgh Pirates podcast. Okay.
All right.
We can break down the Brian
He's
Reynolds contract extension.
very team-friendly deal. Okay.
Very team-friendly. I love it. We can re-sign this guy that I never heard of before.
Yeah, no. Hopefully Bednar can come back. I think he's
him, that guy.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. No, yes. Good times. We're in good for first place, baby.
Are the Yankees still in last place? Did they climb out after these last couple of games here?
Let's pull up the standings here. We got the MLB standings. The Yankees are still in last place.
Oh, okay. It's May 4th, and the Yankees are in last place.
All right. Yeah, 17 and 15.
And so they're 10 and 15 when everybody else starts, and they're 7 and 0 when Gerrit Cole starts.
Wild. But how many wins did the A's have? The A's only have 6 wins. So Gerrit Cole has
So
more
Gerrit Cole has
wins
more wins
than
than
the
the
A's.
A's. See, when I tweeted out the preview of the show, I said that we'll say something positive about this team when we find it. And there it is. Gerrit Cole, or the Yankees have more wins when Gerrit Cole pitches than the A's do in totality this season.
And people complain that he's not worth the money. He's worth more than a whole franchise.
This is true, huh? Does he make more than the Oakland A's? Is that
Definitely? They're definitely on that list. He probably makes more than the A's, the Royals, the Pirates combined.
Speaking of the Royals, I think the Royals have a pretty decent payroll. But speaking of the Royals, for anybody that missed this today, our old friend Aroldis Chapman came in and tried to close out a game today. Do you want for anybody that missed this? Aroldis Chapman in his outing today, he walked 3 batters, balked, gave up 4 stolen bases, and then gave up a go-ahead 2-run hit.
Man, and you know what's funny too? He's been pretty, at least what I've seen from him, highlights, clips, people talking about him. He's been pretty good up to this point, and then now with this happening, it's like, all right, there he is. There's the
there
Chapman.
He is. There's
he is.
Aroldis Chapman.
So let's see. The active payroll for the Athletics is $35 million. What does Cole make a year?
36.
So he makes more than an entire payroll franchise, and he
that is wild,
wins more.
Bro. And I didn't get a chance to read it because I was really busy today, and I don't know why. I was just scrolling to find something that they might have a snag and move into Vegas.
Oh, too bad.
They can't stay there, bro.
No, it's bad. I mean, the attendance was clocked in at like 2,500 the other night. It didn't even look like there was that many people
and that's
there.
Probably just sold tickets. I bet you have
right.
People didn't show up.
It looked like in the hundreds, man. Pretty sad.
We're avoiding talking about the Yankees.
Yeah,
we're avoiding it. It's like when you have to have that big fight with your significant other, and you know that you guys are going to say some shit that you're going to regret, and you're just doing some small talk first before you get into it. That's kind of what we're doing here.
Yeah, a little bit. Warm the water a little bit here, you know.
In the water here. Let's it's Gerrit Cole pitched on a today's Thursday. He pitched on Tuesday night, and he was okay. I mean, he went 6 innings, gave up 2 runs, and he was okay. You can see that he didn't have his best stuff, but man, the thing about Gerrit Cole this year is that he hasn't blown up. I mean, 7 starts, not one pitch has left the ballpark that he's thrown. Okay, I mean that's a significant improvement.
Stat, yeah,
that's a significant improvement over last year. And then I believe because Tuesday was my daughter's birthday. She turned 3. So I don't know.
Happy birthday.
I don't know if my wife's letting her watch it or not, but Daddy loves you. Happy birthday. Okay. So we didn't get home until probably like the 3rd or 4th inning because took her out to eat and took her to Build-A-Bear, all the things you do for a 3-year-old birthday. Okay.
Nice.
And
sounds like a good birthday. I might, Build-A-Bear for your birthday. That's a good birthday right there. Huh?
Build-A-Bear.
Look into that.
And what did he do? In the 2nd inning, he started the inning with a walk and a hit by pitch and 2 on, no out, right? Is that how it started? Because I was following the game on my phone.
And then I think it was bases loaded, no outs, no?
It might have been bases loaded, no out, but I know he walked and he hit a batter to start the inning. And he was like in real trouble, and then he struck the next 3 guys out.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's the difference between Gerrit Cole in 2023 and the Gerrit Cole that we've kind of seen. What's up?
No, sorry, I didn't mean to gesture like that. But that was the 5th inning then that he had the double play, the botched double play. It wasn't his last inning. He came back out and had a quick one, or was able to get out of it. It was the 3rd inning.
I think he got nicked for a couple of runs.
Oh, okay, that was that one.
The botched double play might have been in Texas.
Oh man, dude.
Yeah, I know it's been a crazy few days.
Kind of blurred, yeah. A lot of games in a row.
I've been sick for most of the last week. That's why I'm sorry. I apologize in advance for the constant clearing of my throat. I feel a lot better today, but I still have that residual buildup back there. And I went to a wedding on Saturday. Congratulations to Brandon and Kristen on their nuptials. For long-time listeners of the show, Yes, the same Brandon of Brandon Randini Fitness, who used to be a sponsor of the podcast way back in the day. Okay.
Awesome, man. Congrats.
And then Monday we had a very important family event that I was out most of the night, and then Tuesday was my daughter's birthday. So we just have had a lot of stuff going on, trying to catch up on everything here with the Yankees. And but as I was saying here with Gerrit Cole, like that second inning when he was in that type of trouble, you could have banked on it. He's given up at least 3, maybe 4 runs in that inning in previous seasons, like and it's just like a switch goes off for him, and then he ended up getting nicked up for a couple runs in the third there, but he gives up 2 runs over 6. If that's a bad Gerrit Cole performance, you're going to take that 10 times out of 10 because he buckled down, he grinded, he got the team, into the 7th inning. And if they would have lost that game, it wouldn't have been his fault. And those are the types of things that you look for from your ace. Now, the things that pissed me off about that game is really nothing to do with Gerrit Cole. It has everything to do with the Bonehead. See what I did there?
Nice, dude.
The Bonehead manager of the New York Yankees, Aaron Boone. Okay. If you look back at Gerrit Cole's previous 2 starts against Toronto and Texas, Gerrit Cole was pulled when he was in much better control of the game, when he had much better stuff, was pulled before he hits 100 pitches in both of those games. This is a game here where he gives up a hit in the 6th inning and he's over 100 pitches. And you can say to yourself, I could see now where Boone pulls him because this has been an absolute grind for him. No, this is the game that Aaron Boone leaves him in and to face that final batter.
And it's got to go back to those analytics, man. It's got to be that he had better numbers against those guys that were coming up than he did in his previous outing.
This is what the problem is. And let's just go right into it, bro. Let's go right into it here.
Let's do it.
Because Brian Cashman's going to feel it and Aaron Boone's going to get it right now. You have to have a better feel for the game than Aaron Boone has, okay? We've witnessed it 3 times in this series. Well, maybe not so much against Gerrit Cole because I don't have as much of a problem with it with Gerrit Cole, letting him in, obviously, because that's your ace. But you look at the previous history, the last 2 starts, you're pulling the guy before he hits 100 pitches when you shouldn't have. And then this is the game where maybe, you curtail him a little bit because he grinded his ass off, and then you let him go to the extra batter. Make it make sense to me.
Yeah, it's definitely a Boone-headed decision.
The Boone-headed decision, okay?
There. And it's over managing too in a way, and it's only May. And he's doing this, and it's so magnified in October that I don't know. It's going to be even worse then, right?
Monday night. Let's travel back to Monday night, right?
Okay.
I came home when Bonehead pulled Herman from the game. I really couldn't. I was in a situation where I couldn't even look at my phone for like an hour and a half. And when I did, I said, "Holy shit! This game's in the 8th inning already."
Yeah, it flew.
And then we're driving home at the bottom of the 8th inning. I said to my wife, wow, like the pitch clock is like, this is exactly what they want from the pitch clock. We're going to go to the 9th inning. It's not even 9 o'clock yet.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was like 10-9 at that point.
At home, Herman gives up the hit, 88 pitches. Here comes Bonehead, right? And I'm saying to myself, like normally, and I'm going to be fair about this because I think this is the way we have to operate. We have to be fair about things. Normally, yes, I would have screamed my friggin' head off about Boone pulling a pitcher, 88 pitches, when he's been dominant the entire game. But it's Domingo Germán, so I'm a little more reserved in that because it's Domingo Germán, bro. Like we just saw his last start where he was getting hit around like a ping pong ball, but then his previous start from that, he was dominant. So you just never know with Domingo Germán. My big problem was going to Clay Holmes more so than pulling Germán in that situation. And I know people are going to disagree with me, and that's absolutely fine. But we've seen that Clay Holmes is not the guy. If you're going to give Clay Holmes the 9th, you have to give him the 9th inning. You can't let him in to clean up somebody's mess because we've seen him make more of a mess. He might have, I don't want to say as much, but he possesses as much gasoline to pour on a fire as Aroldis Chapman does. We've seen that now, right?
Yeah, he's totally had those same signs of a Chapman effect where he's, losing control. He doesn't have it. And you kind of know right away, all right, we're in trouble.
Oh, and he had that little bleeder or whatever it was. They don't make the play, and that kind of lets the inning get out of control. He leaves. It's 2-2. You want to blame Wandy because he walked the guy with the bases loaded. And that was ultimately the winning run.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But all these things are set into motion when Aaron Boone gets this. And I'm not gonna. It's like he gets excited. It's like, and I don't know how to make the analogy here, but it's like like he's gonna get rewarded, like he's gonna get a candy bar for making a pitching change. It's like, oh, I did something good. Can I have my candy
here's
bar
my
now?
lollipop. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets like a lollipop or something. Like, because it's Clay Holmes in that situation, maybe you let Herman try to finish the game. But I understand. And when I watched the post game on Monday night, it was like Aaron Boone felt more it's like he knew he was going to be screwed either way, because Domingo Herman could have been left in a situation there where he hangs one, boom, 2-2 now. And, the Yankees could end up losing the game because Herman gives it up. Or Holmes comes in, screws up, and then they lose. And it was almost like he had to pick and choose between which excuse he liked better, and he liked giving the Clay Holmes excuse better than he did than had it been Domingo Herman. Because I believe, didn't he say something to the effect of, Herman has a propensity to give up home runs in that situation, and Holmes, blah, blah,
And
blah.
what Ramirez was coming up. He has, he can hit the long ball. But yeah, I mean, I think hopefully this is the last time we see Clay Holmes come into a game with inherited runners, right? He's got to kind of start these innings off with a clean slate. And that's the case for a lot of closers. Wouldn't you say that they would prefer to come in clean slate, nobody on, start it and finish it?
Some of them can't handle cleaning up a mess.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen that from various closers through the years, that they have issues cleaning up somebody else's mess. Now you go to last night's game, right? Where the Yankees were lucky to win that game. They won in spite of the managing. Okay. Game was destined. The Yankees, what was the score last night?
4-3 final.
Yeah, but
10.
It was in 10. The Yankees tied the game in the ninth, right? It was 2-2, wasn't it? It was 2-2 going into the top of the ninth. I'm sorry, guys. Like I said, it's just been a long week.
It's a long week, dude. It's all right.
2-2 top of the ninth, right? And now in a span of 3 days here, he does this twice, where he removes somebody who's dealing in the ninth inning to go to Clay Holmes, and it blows up in his friggin' face. Okay. Now, Ron Marinaccio is in the game. Ron Marinaccio is dealing. And if you've been listening to the show, Ron Marinaccio is my pick to be the closer. I think he's best suited for it.
Yeah.
Michael King was just dominant in back of Gerrit Cole on Tuesday night there. But I think the Yankees like to have King one game, 2 or 3 innings, and you lose him for a couple games. Whereas if he's going to close, you don't have that luxury. You're going to need him every night. And we don't know. Maybe King can't respond on back-to-back nights. We don't know. We haven't seen it, right? So I kind of just like, let's just leave King alone right now. We found a role that works for him. Let's just leave him alone right now. It's like, let's not reinvent the wheel with Michael King right now, because we've seen the Yankees try to reinvent the wheel and then the fucking thing doesn't spin, right?
Right.
Okay. So Marinaccio's in the game, 2 outs. You get one more out. You go to the bottom of the ninth. You can try to win the game there or go to extra innings. Bonehead comes out, pulls Marinaccio, brings in Holmes. Before you know it, it's 3-2, right?
Yep.
And Ryan. Mm-hmm. I sent you guys the clip, right? I sent you guys the clip of what he said post game. He said the only debate he had was whether or not to let Ron Marinaccio go another batter or give Clay Holmes a clean 10th inning. The debate was not going to Clay Holmes. Aaron.
Which, does that even make sense at that point?
Oh, it makes zero sense. Again, read the room. Let the guy, if Ron Marinaccio gives up a 500-foot home run to the next batter, no one's second guessing you because the guy was dealing. You're going to a guy that nobody has any faith in right now, and who would have been much better served to come in to get a full inning there. What is the point of making that pitching change other than for the sake of making a pitching change in that point?
Right. And at that point, you're saying, well, then he must have been at a ridiculous amount of pitches in the 30 or 40 range, but he was only at 23 pitches at that time.
Let him get one
Marinaccio.
more batter.
Yeah, come
Absolutely
on.
could have let him get one more
With
batter.
17 strikes out of those 23. So clearly he had his good stuff, Marinaccio.
Last night. You had no worries about Ron Marinaccio. And then here we go, right? Line drive out to left field. IKF can't make the play. Next batter, it falls in no man's land. Harrison Bader gets hurt. He has to come out of the game, run scores, right? So I tweet, it's time. This is the exact tweet right here. Let's go to it.
Yeah, pull that thing up. Let me hear that tweety.
All right, we're gonna pull it up, not pull it out.
Yeah, don't do that.
Okay. Aaron Boone has to be fired. That's twice in this series alone. He went to the bullpen in the ninth inning to remove a guy that was dealing to go to Clay Holmes, and it cost the Yankees dearly, right? You think universally people would be in agreement with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of the responses. Can't blame Holmes for that inning. IKF should have caught the ball. Let me explain something to you, Jabroni. What is Clay Holmes there to do? Is Clay Holmes out there to give up rockets to the left fielder?
Mm-mm.
Clay Holmes on it when he's on his game. What does he do? Induce weak contact? Maybe
strike a guy out with that ball down
with that nasty sinker and his slider.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I don't give Clay Holmes a pass for giving up a line drive to the outfield that maybe a regular outfielder catches, but still, that the guy squared the ball up on him. He just hit a line drive that probably should have been caught. It's not like Clay Holmes executed in that situation.
No, because if he executed it, he wouldn't have even put the ball in play like that to begin with.
There's another one. How about the players do their job? Okay, fine, great. Players were doing their job. Like Ron Marinaccio was doing his friggin' job, and Aaron Boone went out there and pulled him from the game.
Yeah, I don't know. And then the post game from there, right, is a quote of him saying something along the lines of zero hesitation to make that decision. So it doesn't seem like there's any.
There's another one. We won. Who cares? Because he did it 2 days before and they didn't win, asshole. How about that one?
Right. And it's happened a lot now with Holmes.
Guys have to understand something. We're not coming on this show every week to complain for the sake of friggin' complaining. If you don't realize what you're watching is a problem, then you are a brainwashed friggin' fool. Okay? This is what the YPM, they live for people like you. Okay? To not realize that Aaron Boone is a terrible, terrible manager. And we're going to get to Brian Cashman in a few minutes. But Brian Cashman sat there yesterday in a media scrum, and nobody pushed him on anything.
Mm-hmm.
And why don't you have a left fielder? Brian, why is Aaron Boone still the manager of his team? Don't you disagree with his pitching decisions?
Yeah, I definitely haven't loved what I've seen. And especially when you have guys like Marinaccio that are doing the job. So it's just like we don't need to take him out in those moments. And it's kind of been an issue with him more so when it's magnified in October, and we're seeing it now. And this is just a precursor of what's to come.
Trevino, right? Who went and had Tommy John surgery this week. So what a fucking trade that turned out to be. Okay. What a trade that turned out to be. Aaron Boone, this dumbass, thought it was a better move in game 3 of the ALCS, where if you lose, you are fucking done, to put Lou Trevino in the game over his goddamn ace.
Yep.
Guys, he has not improved in iota from 2018. When we sat here and we said we had Booners for Boone and we watched Boone in 2018, it's because we saw the potential there of him being a good manager. He has gotten progressively worse every year to the point where Pete says it, and I can't disagree with it. He's the worst manager in baseball.
When you have the pieces the Yankees have and it's not really translating, then but again, though, they are very injured, so he doesn't have a lot to work with, and that might not all be on Boone. But the decisions that he has been making, especially these last couple of weeks when it's been a grind, have been questionable for sure.
And you can help your team out by the decisions you make if they're injured, and he's not doing that.
Right, he's making it harder for them, pretty much. Some say hard.
Aaron Boone is not, and I want to be wrong. I want everybody to come and attack me, just verbally eviscerate me in November. You're wrong. You were stupid. We won. Haha. I want to be wrong so bad.
Of course.
I don't see this friggin' guy being of sound mind to lead the Yankees to a World Series. I just don't see it.
No, yeah, I mean, he hasn't really shown much for you to think that. I mean, I get it. They've won 100 plus in most of his I guess in all of his full seasons here.
Oh, not last year. They won.
All right. Yeah, 99. Oh, yeah, right. Did it for Judge. So I mean, the wins are there, but again, like I keep going back to October. It's because the Yankees will make the playoffs. They'll make the postseason. It's when these games are heightened that they fall apart. And Boone's not helping to put them back together. The Boone.
Ryan, but no, he's not, Ryan, because the guy's just not cut out for being the manager of the New York Yankees. It's pretty obvious that he's just not. He's not the guy. He's just not the guy, man. I don't know any other way to say it. Like, how much more do we have to watch of him?
A lot more, right? Because he just re-signed.
Yeah, he's got. Yeah, right. He signed. He was re-signed after the 2021 season.
And really, who's the last Yankee manager to be fired? Was Buck Showalter fired in '95 before they brought on Torrey, or was he just not brought back? Because you could keep going back and back. Joe Girardi was not fired; he just wasn't brought back. Joe Torre wasn't fired; his contract came up. Aaron Boone was that same situation last year. His contract was up. If they wanted to part ways, that was the time to do it. If they didn't want to have some sort of drama behind it or lose money in it.
Okay, so it depends on. It's a he said thing.
Okay.
Some people say Buck was fired, and Buck's people say that he resigned from the position.
I don't like to talk about it too much. I don't like to talk about it. They didn't do it. I didn't like what happened. But they didn't do right by me. That's why I went to the mess.
I don't know how much these last two games have masked the stink that was around Yankee Stadium after Monday night, but it was nice that the Yankees got a couple of wins here to kind of pull their nose up a little bit and get above 500. They're still not scoring runs. I mean, I believe it was Tuesday. It might have been Tuesday when I tweeted about Calhoun, Hicks, IKF, and who's the other idiot?
Trevino?
Hicks, Calhoun, Franchi Cordero.
Right.
How they all have negative WARs and they all had sub 600 OPSs, and just being the Yankees, right? Tell me how this makes sense. That the guy with the highest WAR and the highest OPS was the one that wasn't on the team.
Who's that?
Was Franchi Cordero. He was only a negative 0.1 WAR, and his OPS was like 580 something or 560 something. So he had the best numbers out of those four guys, and he was the one that was on the team.
Not good. That's really bad.
And I know that OPS, I don't really a lot of these advanced numbers, and somebody's gonna say OPS plus is an advance. It's advanced for me, okay? I know 100 is like league average. Aaron Hicks' OPS plus is 10.
That is pretty bad.
It's 10. I mean, you can't make it up, bro. You cannot make it up. And credit to Willie Calhoun. After my tweet about him, he's come through in the last two games. He had the home run that broke the tie in Tuesday's game, and then he had the tie, and then he tied the game in Wednesday's game. So credit to Willie Calhoun, man. It's the same thing with like Franchi, dude. Can we get him hot for 2 weeks?
Right, because then the drop's gonna come. Because once pitchers figured out to just keep throwing breaking balls to Cordero, he got sent to Scranton.
Oh, let's see if we can get Willie Calhoun hot for 2 weeks, man.
Yeah.
It's something, just something to hang our head on, bro.
Sure.
You know, like there's two reasons to watch this team every day, other than that you're a diehard fan, and I guess one of them, it's really only one, and it's Anthony Volpe. I love watching this kid play baseball right now. The overall numbers don't, again, like we said last week, the overall numbers don't really jump off the page at you, but he's doing a lot of things really well right now. And that home run the other night that he hit, and somebody pointed this out, and he's learning how to hit at Yankee Stadium. He realizes that he can reach the porch pretty easily out there. So as long as he keeps doing that, man, he's gonna continue to blossom into being a really good big leaguer. And the other guy is Gerrit Cole, but we only get to see him once every 5 days. So right now with Judge on the IL, and the Yankees were playing fucking footsie over there, like, oh, we're gonna put him on, we're not gonna put him on, we're gonna play shorthanded, we're gonna make a decision in a half hour, then it's fucking 4 hours later and he's still not on the IL. Just watch how they handle this, and you can understand why this team is so disheveled, because they can't even figure out what to do with their best player. You knew he wasn't gonna play for at least 4 days. IL him. Let him rest. Losing Judge for 6 days in April and May is much more beneficial to you than trying to jerk around with this and then possibly get it worse. And he wound up on the IL anyway. And you're playing shorthanded when you can't even score as it is.
Yeah, and that too. You think Judge might have had something to do with that too? Maybe hiding how hurt he was to try and stay
it's
out there as the
possible. He's
captain.
done it before. I mean, we remember in 2019 when he had a fucking collapsed lung and didn't say anything to anybody.
Right.
Because he wanted to play in the postseason, or broken ribs or whatever the hell he did late in the season when he dove for that ball against the Angels.
Right. Yeah, I mean, look, I get it for the postseason, but now you got to just ride it out and then take some time to recover.
Once he got pulled out, right, absolutely. Once he got pulled out of that game, right, and you heard him post game, and he said himself a couple days, it's automatic IL stint. I don't know why we had to play this freaking game.
Yep, you said it.
And it's because and with position players, it's 10 days. Okay, you knew you were losing them for at least 4. What's the big deal? I mean, I understand that we can't play. We're not scoring right now, and it's Aaron Judge. But his health is way more important than anything, because if you lose him for 30, 40, 50 games, just cash it in right now.
Yeah, and then what happens when you try to play through injury? Sometimes you just make it worse.
Yeah.
And
that whole day, it was like he's going to go take BP, and then it's like he's not going to take BP, and then it was like he's going to do a light workout, and then we'll have a decision in a half hour, and then it's like, and it's like 10 minutes before game time, and they still haven't made a decision. It's just like, this team is not run well. It's just not. It's not run well. Like, you can see just the way that they handle those situations, that this team is piss poorly managed.
Seems like a bit of like indecisiveness almost, right? Like they just don't want to pull the trigger on any sort of decision that they need to make.
We alluded to the Angels before, right? And this was from Monday's fiasco, or it might have been Tuesday. I don't remember anymore, but I tweeted this. And I said, we make fun of the Angels because they have Ohtani and Trout and can't put a team around them. The Yankees are just the East Coast Angels. We have Judge and Cole and can't put a team around them. Okay. Yeah. People agree with me. And then most people are like, you're stupid. We make the playoffs every year. The Angels don't make the playoffs in 10 years. Let me explain something to you. You are the possession of the Yankee propaganda machine. They love you so much because you probably not only buy 4 or 5 chicken buckets a game, but you take them home, you serve your kids out of them. That's the type of person you are, because you fall for this bullshit. Okay. Is the goal? And look, I said this a couple weeks ago, and I stand by it, right? It's not always all about October. You have to take enjoyment out of watching 162 baseball games. You have to take enjoyment out of special moments during the course of the season, right? Would I have traded 62 for a World Series last year? Yeah, Absolutely, I would have. And anybody that disagrees with me, I think you're silly. I think there's something wrong with you, because the ultimate goal of being a fan is watching you win a championship, not your star player breaking a record. But they didn't win the World Series, so that whole chase, that was the highlight of the year. It took enjoyment out of that. That's memories. You'll always have them, right?
Mhm.
Just like we said earlier this year, being there when Volpe hit his first home run, Judge's first home run, his first at bat as captain hitting a home run, Cole threw that shutout. These are moments and memories, and these are enjoyable things about watching the regular season. But the goal here is to win the World Series. If you think it's okay, if you were one of the people that were arguing me with that tweet, we make the playoffs every. So is now what you want to do? Do you want to hang wild card series appearance banners in Yankee Stadium? Is that what you want? Is making the playoffs every year satisfactory to you? Or do you want more out of this team? Do you want more out of this organization? This organization has not done a good job of finishing to steal a WWE line, finishing the story. They have not done a good job of that. Okay. You have a couple pieces in place, but they have never gone over the top to really say, we got probably the best position player in baseball. We got probably the best pitcher in baseball. Let's make sure we don't waste their primes. But every year now, they are doing, that's all they do is waste the primes of Gerrit Cole and Aaron Judge. Jesus Christ, dude, we could be looking back at 10 years right now with the trajectory that the Yankees are on and saying, how the fuck did we have Aaron Judge and Gerrit Cole not win a World Series?
And then, a lot of people say, well, the competition's steeper than when they, won all those World Series back in the day. And I get that, sure, but who's been in it? It's the same team every single year that's stopping you. The same handful of teams that get in your way, that are taking what you used to be and are doing it to you now. The Astros, the Red Sox, the Rays, those three teams, that's it. Those three teams have stopped the Yankees from getting to the World Series and being the team that we remember them to be. So it's not a matter of steep competition that's keeping them there. Yeah, you get to the playoffs, it's a crapshoot. We've seen it before in the past, but they are the New York Yankees, and they can't get over the hump.
Oh, they can't get over the hump, and it's because of the general manager. He cannot do his job properly. And again, you know what? And people are like, "Oh, Hal's cheap." Fuck you, he's cheap. This is a $250 million payroll. How is that cheap? You want to blame Hal Steinbrenner for anything? Blame him for not not getting rid of the general manager. That's what you have to blame him for.
Right.
Hal, wake up, bro. No, but you know what it is? Somebody said this to me. Oh, he doesn't care if the Yankees are good. He does care if the Yankees are good. That's why he paid Aaron Judge $360 million. They have to be good, but to Hal, the Yankees only have to be good to a point. To keep because bad baseball teams have empty stadiums in July, August, and September. Okay, so you have to at least give the illusion that this is a World Series team. Give them the illusion that this team can make a real significant run. And then you keep people coming into the ballpark. And then, you might get a round or two of extra concessions in the postseason. But that's all he's willing to go to. Because he could have easily gone way past 280. But then again, that's still not him being cheap. Because if you are giving a general manager a budget of $280 million to build a baseball team, baseball team should not have this many holes in it. It just shouldn't.
No, I mean, think of how much money that is. Think of how much the average salary is for these guys, and it's just there's so much more that they could build with nearly $300 million than what we're seeing out there.
That the Yankees have to sit here and rely on guys like Willie Calhoun to win 2 games for them in the course of a week. Are we serious right now? Yeah. And I know Oswald Peraza has not hit well, and then it seemed like he got hurt yesterday. But this is supposed to be like your second or third ranked prospect, and you'd rather watch him get splinters in his ass than play him.
Yeah, and you were saying how it's kind of just like they're doing just enough to get people in the ballpark, spending their money, and it's really, you've seen it over the last 5 years. it's a sport, but it's also a business, and there needs to be some sort of balance, and there really isn't a balance now. The scale is so heavily in favor of this being run as a business rather than a game, and it's genius in terms of money making and a business strategy. It's brilliant that they do this, because what matters more, 162 games or 28 games? I know the 28 games are heightened and you get more ad revenue and all of that, but you have 162 games there. You're getting loyal fans coming to your ballpark, selling out, high rates in attendance, people watching. Yes Network's the most watched local program in the country, right there, at least in the tri-state. But I want to say it's in the entire U.S. More
Probably
people
are the
watch.
highest rated regional sports network in the country.
So I mean, as far as business goes, it's brilliant what they're doing. They're maximizing their profits, and it's great for their pockets. But it's just, if you have that mindset, that mentality that you need to have as a Yankee fan, it's World Series or bust. I don't care about making the postseason. I watch these games. Just, it's kind of, I always say this to you, Christian. I use the phrase glorified spring training. That's what this needs to. These 6 months are glorified spring training for the New York Yankees. They need to get ready for October, and that's when the season begins.
And you mentioned something here, that this team is being run like a business. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, because if you look throughout all the 4 major sports, how many owners are really like George Steinbrenner, where they're passionate about whether or Mark Cuban, where they're passionate about whether the team wins or loses? Most of them are businessmen that can afford to own a sports team, and they do the problem, and then they let somebody else run it for them. The issue with Hal Steinbrenner is that he's letting Brian Cashman run his team, and he's not doing a good job of it. Like, I don't understand how you can sit there and look at what Brian Cashman did last year and think that he deserves a 4-year contract extension off of that. Okay. That just shows me that you're just happy to have somebody in place that you like. That you're not really concerned with what he does mostly, because, any owner would sit there and look and say, how many trades did you make last year? I made 4 trades, more or less, right? Well, what have they done? Well, Andrew Benintendi, he was good for us, and then he got hurt, and now he doesn't play here anymore. Okay, well, okay, he didn't want to play here. Let's just say that. He didn't want to play here. Okay, fine. What else did you do? Oh, we traded for Scott Efros, supposed to be a good piece of our bullpen. Well, how's he doing? We'll see him next year. He's got Tommy John surgery. Okay. What was your big offensive move? You said we needed to upgrade the offense. Well, I got Josh Donaldson in IKF. Okay. Good. So IKF is our shortstop. No, he plays left field now. Okay. Okay. And what about this guy Josh Donaldson I'm hearing about? He's got to be our third baseman, right? No, actually he's hurt.
No, we call him Wash Donaldson now.
Yeah, we call him Wash Donaldson.
Speaking
now.
of IKF here, we got a super chat from Ra.
Ra, what's up, bro?
Ra says Yankees have to move IKF out of the outfield before he kills everyone. He's never played there before, and he's a liability. Also, can the Yankees just play Peraza? They're killing his value. That's a good point with IKF just being a liability out there, that he doesn't know how to play the position. And you saw it last night. That was Bader's ball.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay. So far everybody's hurt, and the one guy that's healthy doesn't play the position that we traded him for. Yeah, that sounds okay. Okay, what else did you do? Well, I got Frankie Montas, and he's supposed to be our number 2. Okay. Okay, so what is he doing? He's rehabbing right now after a shoulder surgery.
Who knows what he's doing?
Okay, and but I did get Lou Trevino in that deal too. Okay, what's he doing? Tommy John surgery.
Oh, I thought you said Scott. I thought you said Efros had the Tommy John surgery.
Oh, no, they both did.
Oh, they both. So 2 of the guys you traded for needed Tommy John surgery, and the other one. Well, what about any big offseason moves this year that you made? That anything big?
Yeah. I got Carlos Rodon.
Oh, how's he look, dude? He was what,
You
second
know,
or third in Cy Young last year?
probably, maybe Saturday when people, because it's supposed to be a nice day, maybe when people are out not paying attention, I'm just going to announce that he's done for the year. The Yankees are sending Rodon for more tests because they can't figure out what's wrong with him. He's not in pain. He just doesn't feel right.
Someone said, it made me laugh. One of the comments on that is like, yeah, I think Carlos Rodon is just aging. And he's just going through the pains of getting older, of like waking up and you just kind of have a backache.
You got 3 kids, bro. Like that's what happens.
Oh, I don't know, man. I'm not gonna knock the Rodon move. I won't knock that.
No, I
There's
can't
nothing,
either
yeah,
because
no.
we all wanted him, but it's just and who else what didn't you sign another pitcher, Brian? Yeah, we brought back Tommy Kahnle. You like Tommy? Oh yeah, Tommy's
Oh
a
man,
great
wow,
guy.
nice reunion there.
Yeah. Well, how's he doing? You don't want to know. He's
How
hurt
those
too.
tight pants looking? Good. Still haven't seen him.
I mean, it's just amazing. Like, how do you get to keep your job after doing all that?
I don't know. I mean, I know this game is a game of failure. You know, you only get on 3 out of 10 times and you're an all-star. But this is
Batted
just
0.
it's too
The
much.
general manager batted 0 last year. And so far this year, he's batted 0.
I mean, look at the Yankee way. I mean, they keep they just bringing these guys in. There's no consequence, there's no repercussions, there's nothing that comes from failure with this team. It's actually, you're rewarded for failure with this team. Look at Aaron Hicks in the lineup every single friggin' night. Brian Cashman gets a contract extension. Aaron Boone gets a contract extension.
Exactly. All right. You're terrible. Okay, we'll pay you. All right.
Yeah.
The forgotten thing about all of that is we didn't even mention Ben Rortvedt, who was part of the IKF Donaldson trade, was brought here to be the starting catcher or more long lines because I believe he's a lefty hitter. Who knows? Because no one's ever seen him. With Kyle Higashioka. Apparently, there's been sighting of him down in Scranton Wilkes-Barre recently. Okay,
yeah,
so
I've heard. Yeah, he bats left, throws right. Rortvedt.
please tell me how any other general manager would survive that. There's not even the A's would let their general manager survive something like that.
No.
And they wanted.
Let's see here. We got his minor league stats so far. It's with 3 teams though, so it's split throughout all the minors on here. He's 7 for 18. This is Rortvedt hitting 389, 476 on base. No home runs yet, but 4 doubles.
Yeah,
so
he
he's off to a
started
nice
he
start
started
here.
in single A or low A or whatever you want to call it.
Okay,
because technically he didn't have a spring training because guess what, Ryan?
What happened?
Hurt.
Right. Yeah, he's only had 6 at-bats down in Scranton. He's 3 for 6 though down there. Looking good so far, off to a good start.
I can't do anything but laugh sometimes. Like sometimes I want to come on here and rant and scream, and then I get in front of the microphone and we talk about it, and I just have to laugh to keep my sanity.
Yeah, what is it? Is it 6 stages of grief? So it's like one different type of grief for each month of the regular season.
It's honestly, dude, guys, like, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that because I saw people tweeting, oh, how do I get 39,000 people to stay home every night? You don't, dummy. So shut up, okay? Let people go to ball games. I got tickets for the game on Saturday. The thought never, as disgusted as I've been this last 2 weeks or whatever it is, the thought never crossed my mind to stay home. But I still want to go to the game and have even if they lose, I'll find, you know, just being out at the ballpark, having an enjoyable, you know, day out or whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be a good time.
But it's just, you gotta just at least use your platform here, like we have here. Even if you have 40 followers, use it. It can get retweeted and picked up, and then it can go viral. You just let people know that you're tired. You are tired of the mismanagement of the Yankees. You're tired of it. And Boone, there was loud fire Boone chants at the stadium. You don't want 39,000 people to stay home. You want them to go to Yankee Stadium and chant fire Aaron Boone. Fire Boone.
Sorry, keep going with yours.
Because do you know when the New York Giants, and look, whatever, we have to see them back it up this year. But do you know when the Giants finally decided it was time to get their heads on straight and bring people in here that knew what they were doing?
When
the owner got booed out of the building every time he stepped onto the field. When the fans reacted with disgust at what they were watching and the embarrassment became too much for him. That's when he was like, enough. What I'm doing is not working. I need to go bring in guys that know what they were doing. And so far through a year plus the draft, it looks like that they know what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Hal Steinbrenner got booed when he showed up for Derek Jeter Day or Mariano or Paul O'Neill Day or whatever it was. And he reacts by giving Brian Cashman an extension. He reacts by not forcing Brian Cashman's hand to get rid of Aaron Boone. And I've said this numerous times, and I believe it to be absolutely true, that as long as Brian Cashman is the general manager of the Yankees, you're going to get a doofus like Aaron Boone in the dugout that really doesn't have any balls and is going to follow whatever is told to him by the front office. But at least let me get somebody in here that might have a better feel for what the hell is happening, because Aaron Boone has no feel for what's going on. We've seen it time and time again. The one thing that, the one thing that this guy could possibly control is when he can make pitching changes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's the thing that he's worried. That's the thing that he's the worst at.
So it seems with the Giants owner that he realized that maybe he was part of the problem, right? Would you say that, or is it just...
I think John Mara did realize that his decision-making was part of the problem.
So that's where I think the difference is that they really don't see their actions the way that they've run this team and handled this team as a problem. They see it as just bad, wrong place, wrong time, bad luck. We had injuries. It's just a bunch of, we faced a team that was cheating. All of this goes back to that lack of accountability of not saying that we are the ones that maybe have handled this team wrong. And, even look at when people boo, what do they say? It's not, yeah, they deserve to be booed. It's no, the fans are wrong for booing them.
I think the fans it depends on the circumstance. The fans were wrong for booing. Honestly, you can disagree with me if you want. I don't care. I think the fans were wrong for booing Aaron Judge in the postseason last year. The guy had an historic season. You don't even sniff the postseason without him. I don't care that he stunk in the postseason. He deserves that grace period.
No, for sure.
That's my opinion.
I'm not even saying necessarily about, it wasn't just Judge that they were complaining about, though. It was kind of like a general consensus of the boos. Even with Gallo, I want to say they were pissed off about the booing.
When Bonehead comes out there twice in the same series and pulls a dominant pitcher for Clay Holmes, and Clay Holmes gives up the lead or gives up the winning run, the potential winning run, you have every right to boo in that situation. Boo Bonehead.
Hey, you can't spell Bonehead without boo.
Can't spell it without boo. You can't spell Boone without boo. So, okay? You heard that here first. Somebody's going to steal that shit, but we came up with it, okay? We had it first, okay?
Chris, click the okay soundboard for Mike.
Okay.
We had it first. We're in last. Rays are in first at 26-6. Best start since the 1984 Tigers.
So, I mean, the Yankees are going to face the Rays this weekend. They got to, even if they take 2 out of 3, you gotta just play good baseball, win a couple of games here. You're not gonna get it all back this weekend. You can't lose this series.
No.
And then expect to. I know I said that you don't really want to look at the standings until Memorial Day, but we're gonna be hitting the first weekend of May here against a team that you're already 8 games behind. You don't want to lose a series to them.
9 games behind now.
And You're going to face them 4 next week, I believe. So 7 out of the
Yes.
13 times you're going to play them is in the next week. You got to play them. You got to play these games tough. You got to come out of here. Even going, I mean, you really have to try to go 5-2 in these 7 games.
Yeah, you definitely need to take this first series. See after, because then you have Oakland in between. So then you should sweep Oakland, take care of business there, and then that 4-game series will be an interesting one. But so then I guess there's 2 parts to that, because you just brought up a good point. Because now that they're only playing their division 13 times versus 18 or sometimes 19 times. So my line of thinking was that kind of sucks, because that's kind of the best part of September is when you have a kind of a chunk of games against a team that you're right there within 3 or 4 games of. But now the way you're phrasing it is, well, make these games count now, because you only have 6 after next week, only 6 left against this team. This will be the only time you really get a bulk of games against a team that is in front of you.
And Nestor, I mean, Cole's going to miss the series because he just pitched, and Cortez was supposed to pitch, but he's going to be backed up to the Oakland series because he's recovering from strep throat. So I mean, you're not even going to get your 2 best available pitchers against them. So, all right,
Yeah.
Ryan, we've been beating around the bush.
Okay.
What-
Okay.
Let's get into what Brian Cashman had to say yesterday. You have some of these queued up here.
Let's just get right into it. We got some tweets here. So Brian Cashman, he was asked what needs to change with the Yankees 16 and 15 start. And we actually do have the sound by here. Let me just get it. Myself and our staff are constantly looking to see what's available. The silver lining is at some point we'll be getting each of these individuals mostly back. All right, that's part 1 of our Cashman series here.
All right, so already you heard something that you don't like to hear, because it's just, we're going to sit on our hands and wait for these guys to come back. Okay. Oh, because how many times do you hear it? Like, oh, what if I told you could get a 30 home run hitter at the trade deadline? Somebody that, can drive in 100 runs for you. What if I told you can get him at the trade deadline for nothing? Would you get it? Would you take it? And you're like, yeah. Well, Giancarlo Stanton will be back in July. That'll be their big move. Like, how many times have you heard the Yankees say shit like that?
I've too many times. That's exactly.
If I told you I could get
last year.
What if I told you I could get the reigning MVP in a trade at the trade deadline?
Yep. What if I told you? Yeah, I mean that's not what how trading works, Brian.
You want to have these guys healthy, okay, and then get other guys, not relying on them coming back.
And then you add players.
This is just not how it works. Okay, this is something we've been hearing from the Yankees for years. Like, oh, when Severino was hurt, like, what if I told you can add an ace at the trade deadline? Yeah, add one, not a fucking guy that can't stay on the goddamn mound.
Yeah. Should we?
So you froze there. So can you just give me the Cliff Notes version of what you said, what that one was?
Basically, Cashman was saying in that clip that they have a lot of infielders, a lot of infield depth that they might be able to get rid of, and they're pursuing some trades, some opportunities, but they have to be the right move. They have to.
Is this also the clip where he said that it's hard to make trades in April and May, and it's it's easier to do in the wintertime? Is that also the same clip?
Yeah, I believe that was right.
Okay, because you fucking idiot. Why didn't you make any trades in the wintertime then?
Nice. Right. Where was that when you should have really been doing that stuff, Bri?
I have 87. We say this all the time. We have an abundance. You even said it. We have an abundance of infielders. Why do you have an abundance of infielders? Why are they all still here?
Right. Yeah, it's kind of an unfortunate situation, but we don't want to get rid of guys if we're not going to get a nice return. And I just haven't liked
what I've seen. And also, don't forget, we are getting a few All-Stars around the deadline. We'll get a Cy Young Award winner, I think, and a former MVP in Stanton Rodon.
The season without an outfield, without a legitimate major league left fielder, but you had 7 shortstops. Does that not seem like a problem? Oh, didn't he say we only want to make trades that benefit us and doesn't hurt us in other areas? Brian, you have to give something to get something. For somebody that's been a general manager for 25 years, you'd think that you would understand this. It's not all about you, okay? That's why you're divorced, because you don't know how to reciprocate to your partner.
Damn.
Yeah, you have to give. You have to give back. It can't be all pleasure for you. You have to give back to your partner.
Right. Yeah. You kind of, they help you with your weakness. Help me help you kind of thing. But you're not going to
help you
steal from them. That would be what every other team does to you. What else we got here? He was also saying that he did explore some trades pretty much in the offseason, but none of them he felt put the team in a better position right now. He says they tried to trade infielders.
I'm so glad that you brought this up.
They just didn't get a good enough offer in return. They just didn't
I'm so glad you brought this up, because I cannot believe that I let this go for this long. I honestly can't believe that I let this go for this long, and how it slipped under the fucking rug like this. Okay. It was so innocuous too. And like, not enough people have talked about this, but there was a report out there, and I believe it came from Joel Sherman, that the Yankees had Aaron Hicks out of here.
To the Rockies, right?
To the Rockies. And the Rockies were going to pay approximately 50% of his salary, and the Yankees are going to pick up the other half.
I thought it would be more that the Yankees would pick up. I don't have that exact quote on me.
I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter at this point. But they had him shipped out of here. Somebody was willing to pay him something, and and Cashman balked and said they didn't want to give up on him yet.
I mean, they had it. They gave it to him. They gave him the out.
Look. When you make a mistake in life, right? When you screw up so bad, you're just looking for somebody to bail you out, right?
Yep.
You were bailed out, dude. You were bailed out. The Rockies came to you, right? And they said to you, Brian, look, man, we'll take him. We'll pay 30 cents on the dollar. We'll take him. We'll give you like this 27-year-old catcher in Double-A. But we'll take him, dude. Like, we will take him. We'll get him out of your hair. You know, we'll find something to do with him. We'll do you this favor. And Brian Cashman was like, no, I'm good. You know what that's akin to, Brian? You know what that's akin to?
What's that?
It's like when the Titanic was going down, right? And the ship is sinking. And then another boat comes along, and you're swimming in the water, right? And they throw a raft out to you so you can come on the boat, and you're like, no, I think I can make it to the shore here.
Yeah, we got this. We'll be
all right. I think I got this. Are you fucking kidding me? And I think part of the reason why I didn't bring this up sooner and why I've kind of let it go is because I really don't want to believe that it's true. I really don't want to believe that somebody was actually willing to bail out the Yankees of Aaron Hicks and Brian Cashman said no. That right there might be the biggest sin this guy has ever made as general manager.
Yeah.
That you had somebody that could have bailed you out of a huge disaster on this team. This guy, look, everybody pretty much saw the video of how he wanted no part of roll call the other night. And, granted, and nobody wants to rip Aaron Hicks more than I do. But like we said, there's times to boo guys. There's times not to boo guys. If you're doing roll call, don't chant sucks after they're calling his name. At least can you let that go? Like, roll call is supposed to be like a good thing. Can we let that go? And then when he tips his cap or whatever he's going to do, then chant Aaron Hicks sucks. Like, can we at least let it go through roll call? But even before, he really wanted no part of it, bro.
No.
He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to ingratiate himself to the fans. And you want to know something? And I saw some people saying, I don't blame Aaron Hicks for that because the fans are absolutely brutal to him. He's earned everything that he's gotten from this fan base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and kind of a point we were making in the offseason was that negative environment that the Yankees are creating by keeping guys around like Donaldson and like Aaron Hicks. Is that really the atmosphere you want to create? And roll call, it's right at the beginning of the game. Having this guy out there is just, you're susceptible to getting those kinds of fan interactions. And you were right about that, Aaron Hicks. The rumor was that Colorado would have taken on half of that contract, the remaining of it.
$15 million of free salary coming your way, of salary relief, got rid of a player you don't want and the fans don't want. He doesn't want to be here.
Yeah.
You said no. And you said no. Anybody have any faith that this team is going to do anything that even remotely resembles the right thing? I'm wearing it tonight. Smarter Yankees. Trade Aaron Hicks. He was gone. He was out the fucking door. And you said no. What do you think you're getting in return?
Yeah. Well, Christian, injuries happen. And ultimately, we're getting a lot of injuries right now. That's certainly killing us. But I have nothing that I can convict here, Christian. If you want to convict somebody, convict me. Okay, this is my responsibility. Okay,
Guilty, convicted, jail for life. Okay, how about that?
Even that,
life
like,
sentence.
If I want to, no, I am. It is your responsibility. This is your construction site, and it's botched. Oh God! Wait, hold on. We got one more. You want to do this final Aaron?
Let's
Hicks,
do this final.
Excuse me, final Brian Cashman soundbite
sure,
here.
Let's do it.
Don't give up on us. Don't count us out. This is a championship caliber operation.
And there it is. Ding, ding, ding. The gaslighting continues because the Yankees know as long as they say that, there will be people that believe them. Yeah. And yes, I will be the first to admit I am not giving up on this team because that's just not ingrained in me. But to sit here and truly believe that this is a championship team, show me what they have done that would lead you to believe that this is a real championship team. Because I'm telling you that the general manager of a real championship team does not start the season with an infielder as his left fielder. One that, honestly, and I love Oswaldo Cabrera. I thought he brought a lot of great energy to this team last year. If this team was healthy, he'd be eating at that Denny's outside of Scranton, PA right now. Because he doesn't deserve a roster spot. He needs to go out there and work on some things and maybe get his head straight because he hasn't kind of been the same player this year. He's another guy. His OPS is under 500, batting 1 something. I mean, there's not getting any help from him. But this team wants to tell you that they're a championship team, so you believe it. So you come out to the ballpark and you spend your money and you keep coming, and that's what they want you to. Don't count us out, guys. I'm telling you. We're good. We're good. That's why, as much as we want Brian Cashman to sit there and do something, what do you want him to do?
Mm-hmm.
And bring in a left fielder? What's he going to do? He's probably looking at payrolls of teams across Major League Baseball and not even realizing that Bobby Bonilla is fucking 60, but all he's seeing is like, oh, look at this guy, Bobby Bonilla. Look at his numbers. Oh, 25, 30 home run guy. And the Mets are paying him $1.6 million this year. We could get him.
Wow,
we can get him, right?
That. Yeah, that's nice. Oh, wait a second. How old is he here? What does that say there? Oh,
He hasn't played. He hasn't played in this millennium.
Okay, Bobby Bonilla Day. What's that? Let me look that up.
They say all the time, a fish rots from the head down, right? So that's Hal Steinbrenner. He's the head of this thing, right?
Yeah, sure. He's the head of our fish. Big
This
fish.
is his brain trust here. This is where he made his. This is where you get mad at Hal Steinbrenner, not for the money he spends, for the person he employs to spend that money. That's where you get mad at Hal Steinbrenner for.
Right. Because he's spending the money. It's just the personnel isn't using it effectively, and he's in charge of personnel.
It's frustrating, man. And this is what it is to be a Yankee fan these days. It's people like, oh, you're 2 games over 500, blah blah blah. It's like you're not even really that bad, and you guys make the playoffs every year, and all you do is bitch and complain. Okay, no, it's not. It's not. It's not bitching and complaining. And I'm sick and tired of people saying that. Like what? Like in that tweet that I said with Boone fired him, some guy said, "Well, he could have made the right move and not worked, and you'd still complain about it." No, you fucking jerk off. I don't fucking complain about shit like that. I complain about the constant stupidity of this team. And if you are too blind to see it, then that's great. I hear that the summer internships for the YPM are starting soon. Maybe you should get your applications in. But you're not going to get that here.
Yeah, because we've been doing this for too long now. We see it happening all over again. It's just those same issues. They keep repeating and coming up over and over again.
Bought in 2016, okay? We bought in.
Yep.
And the Yankees were like, time to change this shit up. Time to do something different, right? We bought into it. It was time for a rebuild. It really was, okay? There's no doubt about it. After Jeter broke his ankle in 2012, that was the end of an era right there.
Mm-hmm.
That was an end of an era in that ALCS. As soon as that ankle snapped, it was an end of an era. Then the Yankees got old. They got boring. They got hard to watch. And I got people tweeting out, oh, this is the worst lineup I've ever seen in my life. Did you live through 2013? Honestly, did you live through 2013? Because Joe Girardi deserves a fucking monument for getting that team over 500. Yeah. He really does.
Yeah, that was a long stretch with those kinds of lineups, too.
And Brian Cashman went to Hal Steinbrenner and he said, I need to run this the way I got to run this. And it was Greg Bird, and it was Tyler Austin, and it was Aaron Judge, and it was Luis Severino, and Gary Sanchez, and name all these guys. Name them. These were the guys. These are the guys we're bringing up. These are the guys that are going to lead a resurgence here. And the worst thing that ever happened to the Yankees was getting to the Game 7 in the ALCS in 2017, because what they really needed to do was hit fucking rock bottom with this team and really rebuild properly, because as much as I love them, if the Yankees don't do that, if they have that type of rebuilding year that they really needed to have, they don't go out there and make a trade for Giancarlo Stanton. And maybe things can happen a little bit more organically. But they went and they pushed the issue, which was fine, because if you're ahead of schedule, go for it. But the problem is that once they did that, they got to a point where they couldn't get past the hump here. They couldn't get over the hump now. And we kept hearing, we got to reset the luxury tax so we can go for it, which was fine. Sell me on the idea. Sell me on the process right now, which is they did. And I was for it because we needed change. Something different had to happen, right? Mm-hmm. That's why these revenue charts are so stupid. People are like, well, look what the Yankees did. They cut payroll in 2017 and 2018. That's easy to say, and it's it's fun to push your narrative that Hal's cheap by saying that, but you had no context to it. Because when you get rid of Carlos Beltran and Brian McCann and Mark Teixeira and all these guys that are making tens of millions of dollars a year and replace them with younger guys, your payroll is going to go down. And nobody had an issue with that because you needed to get younger. You needed to bring up these kids and get rid of these aging veterans.
Right.
So and then here we are, Ryan. And then it was always like, 17 was the magic carpet ride. We'll bring in Giancarlo Stanton, but we're really not ready yet. It was 2019 was the year, right? And then it was like, okay, well, we got back to the LCS, but So it really wasn't our year because we don't have the ace, right? Oh, we don't have the ace. It's not really our year. We're bringing Gerrit Cole, and then fucking COVID happens. And then the Yankees treated that season like a joke. Okay. We all, regardless of what you feel about it, the Yankees only felt that they needed to get to a certain number of wins to get into the playoffs that year, which is what they did. And then they completely took their foot off the pedal. And then, we all know the Davy Garcia disaster. They lose to the Rays, and then 2021, 2022, and now here we are in 2023. 2021 and 2022 is when the Yankees should have, gotten over the hump, and they don't do that. They haven't done that yet.
And I think you hit the nail on the head with that that maybe it would have been for the best if they completely collapsed in 2016 when those young guys came up and they just fell apart. And then 2017 was a rebuild instead of a retool. Remember how much we praised that, how it wasn't a rebuild, it was a retool. They were one of the only examples of a team that could lose an entire pretty much payroll and then replace it and still be competitive. We praise that, but then in the long run, then it goes back to how they operate, and they might have needed that extreme failure for their eyes to open up and maybe really change how they do things. Kind of like what happened with the Giants. They hit rock bottom in football, and now they the writing was on the wall and they actually acted on it.
Oh, here we are now in 2023, and this team just looks like a mess. They're frustrating to watch. And it's just, when does it end? Aaron Judge can come back. John Carlos Stanton can come back. Carlos Rodon, Sevy, all these guys can come back.
We got Luca in the chat right now. He's posting he posted the 2013 some of those guys on the roster: Zoilo Almonte, Vernon Wells, David Adams, Chris Stewart, Lyle Overbay, Travis Hafner, I think, was in there too. Oh man. Oof.
Guys, you can feel any way you want to feel, but you just have to recognize that this team is just they're the Yankees, and they're one of the worst run organizations in baseball. They really are. But hey, you know what? There's no need to, the way that ownership looks at it, there's no need to make a change, because all of us, everybody that can hear my voice and see me, we're all stupid because we live for this team. So we're going to be there. We're going to be in front of the TV tomorrow night. We're going to go out to ball games. We're still going to, we're just not going to give up on this team. Some people might, and that's fine. You do what you want to do. But the Yankees know that they have people like me for life. Yep. I could sit here until I'm 80 and I'll die, in front of this microphone, complaining about this team. But they know that that's all I'm going to do is complain about it. I'm still going to watch every single game.
Same here, man. I'm in it for the long haul. Long haul.
And again, dude, it's like, what are you going to do? You can sit here and complain about it. Brian Cashman's not going anywhere. But Aaron Boone has to go. I'm sorry. And I'll end it on this. And I know I've said this 100 times, that I don't think it's fair that Brian Cashman would be the guy would be able to pick the next manager, because he is the reason for all this mess, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's time, man. Look what happened with the Phillies last year. Fired Joe Girardi. Rob Thompson comes in, gets them to the World Series. It might just be time for a different voice in that clubhouse. It's been 6 years now, and he's gotten progressively worse. Yeah. You could say they might like him as a person, and I don't doubt that one bit. I don't doubt that anybody in that locker room doesn't like Aaron Boone. Honest to God, from everything that I know about Aaron Boone and have heard about Aaron Boone, he's one of the best human beings on this planet. Probably true. But I would say to a man, they don't fucking respect him as a manager.
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much they're buying into Aaron Boone. I know that was kind of the narrative when Girardi left, that he didn't have the locker room and they weren't buying in. I don't know, man. I'm kind of just, it's tough, because it's just like, it's one thing after the next with this team. I don't know. My booner for Boone, man. It turned to a Bonehead.
I on that note, I don't think we have anything else to say.
Yeah, that's it.
So, like we said, the Yankees are going to be in Tampa this weekend. It's a big series. It's early, but it's a big series. 6:40 Friday, 4:10 Saturday, 1:40 on Sunday. So, Yankees just got to find a way to get shit done here. We want you to head over to our Twitter at NYYST_podcast and throw us a follow. If you're still in the chat, please like this video and subscribe to
Please subscribe,
NYY
man.
News TV here, man.
We're
want
7 subs away from 15,700 on the NYY News TV.
There's no
channel.
reason why this channel shouldn't be
Mickey
at 20.
Mantle.
Shouldn't be at 20K by the All-Star break.
Oh, well over 20.
Okay.
Okay.
And,
over
if you're
under. I'm going over. Okay, on the 20K. Okay. All right. Tony in Brooklyn, go ahead.
And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a 5-star rating and review. All that said, for anybody that's wondering where Chris is, nobody's wondering where Chris is.
Nah. Yeah, it's as if he's was never here.
I bet you wished that plenty of times in your life.
Yeah, almost every day from age like 8 to 13.
Gap of time right there.
What are you gonna
Chris
do?
is doing, like we said last week, Chris is doing well. He's just, it's life, bro. I
Yeah, man.
said that I had a really long week, and that's why I couldn't piece everything together early on in the show. Life gets, you got family and commitments and responsibilities, and that's just life sometimes. We were hoping he was going to be here today. We almost had him, and then something came up last minute, but we're super hopeful that he will be here next week, and hopefully, because we're bouncing around a lot, guys. If you haven't noticed, we're bouncing around to make sure that Game Season Live is on every night. So if you look at the schedule, we should be on Wednesday night because the Yanks are playing a 12:30 day game on Wednesday. So Wednesday should be our next night. So we're hoping Chris is here to hopefully talk about a nice stretch of Yankee baseball here. They took the series in Cleveland. Let's hope that they can, continue some positive momentum, take a series against Tampa. And I mean, do what you got to do with the fucking A's, dude. Come on.
Yeah, that's going to be the key here. If you take 2 out of 3 and then you drop that series against Oakland, I'm gonna again. But let's get there first. One game at a time.
Get there first. So we want to thank everybody for listening and watching episode 330 of the NYYST podcast. Thank you very much for your continued support of NYYST and NYY News TV. SGR, say goodbye.
Hey!